Voices to hear.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Voices to Hear. My name is Chloe and in today's episode I will be talking with some members of the Giffoni Youth Festival team. Anastasija Jurukowska, Program Director, Berta Milewska, Organizational Manager, and Milena Kiosowska, Alumni Juror. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. So maybe before diving into my questions, I was thinking that you can maybe explain better than me what the Giffoni Youth Festival is.
Okay, so the Giffoni Youth Festival is a youth film festival that's happening here for the 13th year this time. It's like a sister festival to the main event and the main festival in Italy. So Giffoni Italy, more like for us is Giffoni Experience, has brought their way of doing festivals here in Macedonia. So we are following the way they are letting the youth experience movies and delve into the film industry and learn all about it.
I already briefly introduced you by mentioning your names and your positions, but I would like to ask you to tell a bit more about yourself and what made you decide to volunteer at Giffoni Macedonia.
Since I have the mic, I'll start first and I'll go to the others. For me, I knew about the festival since its first edition, since it started around the time when I was eligible in primary school to go, but it didn't apply until but 2016. So that was my first year in high school when I applied, and I just heard really nice things about it, the whole community around the participants there, the movies that are shared, the master classes and the workshops that we have, and just it was a new opportunity that we've never seen before. So for me, that was like the motive to see something that I don't see every day, and to this day it sucked me in a way, and I think many of us will agree on that. And from that day on, I've tried my best to participate for each edition. Since after my participation in 2016, I also was part of the alumni group that went to Italy for that the next year's edition.
I also started in primary school. I was very close with my English teacher. I used to be a very shy kid in primary school, and my teacher knew that I always loved movies and stuff like that. So she actually mentioned it to me, and I went there, and ever since they became like a family. So to me, every single edition of Giffoni is kind of like family holidays when the whole family gets together, even though we see each other almost all the time. Yeah, I've been a part of this wonderful family since I was very young, and I think till the day that I would die. So yeah.
Okay, so hi, I'm Berta. I started, I think I was in primary school, but I didn't go regularly, like I didn't go every year. I have more years as a volunteer than as a participant. So I don't know. I've been a volunteer since 2018, and I've been working on the festival for 7 years now. I didn't get to go to Italy as an alumni like Anya did, for example, but this year I finally managed to go as a chaperone to our alumni group. So it was a really nice experience. I love this festival, and also I've been joining it so much, I've been volunteering for years so much because I kind of also work in that field. I work in animation, so this is really close to what I work with. I really like movies. I like talking about movies, and I love the fact that it's about young people, so that those are the things that really keep me going, I really hope for the best. And yeah, that's how I got there, like from a participant for like 2 or 3 years, something like that. Then I was a volunteer for a lot of years. So yeah, here we are.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing a bit more about yourselves and the reasons behind your volunteering or like participation in Giffoni. So as you already mentioned, this year will be already the 13th edition of the festival here in Macedonia. So what can we expect from this year edition?
The main focus, of course, of the festival is movies. We have 3 categories. For primary school is juniors, for high schoolers, first and second years are cadets, and the third and fourth year are seniors. So they each have a separate program that will have have movies related to their age group, just so we can have them experience the same things that the people in the movies are experiencing in a way. Not necessarily that they have the same age group, the actors in the movies, but topics that are important for that age group. So they can expect to watch a lot of international movies. So it's not only from one specific country. So we try to have a variety of movies. They will be followed with lots of discussions, and afterwards they can join many workshops. The workshops also range in the realm of movies, the film industry, photography, and expressing themselves creatively in every, I would say, art form. Yeah, art form. And also we have many guests in the master classes. After the movie and the workshop program, we have master classes with directors, either that are similar age to the groups, or maybe someone that's popular right now that they would have a lot of interest hearing. We try to have also successful Giffoners, successful jurors that continue to work in the industry in any way. So our repeating guest is Martin, Marvi Productions. So each year and each time he's a guest, he has new things happening. So I can say that he's going to be there. Also, we are hoping to have the Dokunikul to the Maketox crew join us from their youth program, and as well as many movie directors that had last year and this year movies come out that can share their experience of the movie industry with the students.
I was also wondering, like, apart from the age group and everything, how are the films that will be presented chosen? Obviously, I understand that you have repeated guests and things like this, but for example, is there a specific theme connecting each edition, or does each edition have a specific theme and then you choose the movies around that?
Okay, yeah. There is a selection, of course. There's also different topics each year. So sometimes they're connected topics, like one year with another year and a third year or something like that. A few years ago, we had air, earth, and fire, and water. Yes, of course. So we had all of the four elements. So all the movies were revolving around all of that. This year, the topic is becoming human. From what I saw from the movies, they are meant to connect with their age group that they're chosen with. It's mostly, a lot of them have main actors, and also like the main characters are at a similar age group, and also they're dealing with mostly modern problems and stuff like that. So I mean, I think you get the deal, you know, becoming human, like trying to connect with the audience and stuff like that. So this is our topic this year.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Does someone want to add something?
I think the main thing that our jurors need to expect is a lot of surprises and lots of love. But I think that this year's theme, Becoming Human, will connect to our jurors to a way more personal matter, or a more personal level, because, you know, a lot of the time when we were growing up, I will give an example for me. I was such a shy and introverted kid before coming to Giffoni, and when I did come to Giffoni, I understood that, hey, it's not so bad being unique, being me. Like, there's a lot of people like me who accept me that, of course, become family later on. So I think that it will give the confidence and the push to the kids to be like, hey, it's okay. Like, I've went through this, we're going through it, and it's okay to become a human. So I think it will hold like a special part to them, and to us, even the volunteers and the whole organization that's behind the festival.
I have to add something to this. I was also not shy, but I had a huge stage fright, and like I couldn't speak in front of groups that were more than, I think, 8 people or something like that. I was super scared and everything, super nervous. So I don't know how it happened, but like Giffoni really helped with this. One year I was a volunteer. I really wanted to watch the movies. I was with the juniors, like with the kids from elementary school. And there was this other girl that was a moderator then. So she was like, okay, who's gonna be like watching the kids in the cinema with me? I was like, okay, I wanna go. I wanna see this movie also. So because I wanted to watch the movie afterwards, she was like, okay, maybe you can come on stage with me so that they don't feel that much of an authority and things stuff like that. I kind of ended up like getting on stage with her every day. The next year, I said that I found myself that I actually enjoyed it. So the next year, when I was talking to the director and the crew, they commended me to be a moderator for the cadets. So I accepted, and each year since then, like, I'm still a moderator, and my stage fright levels are like so low. I mean, I get nervous, of course, but it's a thing, you know, like I put myself in that situation. And this festival, like the whole thing helped me get over it. Not completely, of course, because I think you need to be nervous if you care about something. But yes, now I've talked to 300 people, you know, that's like quite the progress, I think. So yeah, thanks.
I have to add something to this.
We're changing. We're changing everything.
That's good.
First, I have to say that like the jurors love her as a moderator. So like knowing that she had stage fright and now is a fan favorite in a way, it's so nice to hear. Especially like when we do our closing and opening ceremonies, we try to be a bit more creative and more engaging with the audience. So it's really nice that she had a little skit that she did last year when we announced part of the jurors that are going to Italy are announced during the closing ceremony, and the rest are chosen in the final screening months later. So she did like a whole skit to like make it more creative, like a postman skit with the letters and everything, and the crowd was loving it. All the jurors were so excited, and I think that nothing we did except that moment with Berta was couldn't come up to that level.
It's a core memory.
Yeah, definitely. Like it is a core memory. But I also wanted to say how everyone like had like this similar story for me as well, because when I joined in 2016, it was my first year. I had an idea about what the festival was, of course, but I didn't know that my engagement with the festival would have a benefit such as going to Italy. So to experience the original festival, the mother festival, if I say. Yeah. But for me, when first day I watched the movie, and there was like some group of kids that were feeling really cool and didn't want to give a proper answer. So I was like, if they're able to like disrupt right now, might as well give a shot myself. And I was very nervous. So I was like speaking. I felt like I was shaking. I felt like my point didn't pass through at all, that I didn't say anything. So I was like, each day I have to not apply, but I have to raise my hand again to be hopefully chosen to speak again. So I can like redeem myself in a way, not for like whoever was in the room, but like I felt like I didn't like say what I wanted to say correctly. So like each time I like applied and I raised my hand, and like every other time I spoke, my thoughts came more clearly. I can like understand the movies better. I tried to understand the movies more deeply, and I saw how many people like agree with me or disagree with me. It really had like an impact on how I built my self-confidence. And I was lucky enough from my first year to be chosen the next year to go with the juror group to Giffoni, Italy. That was, for me, I did not know that existed, that option. So like when they told me, oh, like sit closer to the stage, I was like, why? Like, I want to sit with my friends in the back. What's going on? So like, it's always nice after that, since all the organization and the previous alumni have a say in who would go in the next group, since we want to be from the kids for the kids, to not have any bias from any more authoritarian side about who will go, since that's important to like really, I think the kids that were there themselves are best would know who really knows and who really would be enjoying themselves there, because it's really important. I think she can say something about that. She was like
I'm excited for this part because I actually remember Anna from the time I was a juror myself. I think you were a volunteer or something like that. And every time I would go to Giffoni, I would be like so excited to see the whole crew. And it's so funny because when I was chosen to go to Italy, it was with one of my best friends that we started together at Giffoni. And I think it was Anna who was like, hey, you better come like to the closing ceremony. And I was like, okay, like, you know, I didn't even like pay attention to it. And when I went to Giffoni, it was like, wow, like this is so much fun. Like, it's not about, I see even now with the jurors that come, they're like, oh, I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm like, no, you're gonna hang out with your friends, like make friends, kind of like forcing them in a joking way. But one of the core memories, besides like getting chosen, was getting to meet Gary Oldman, which is my all-time favorite actor. And I was like, oh my God, like this is really happening. Like, I'm really here experiencing all of this. For me, Giffoni is like more about the friendships, because people view Giffoni as like, oh, the volunteers are like on a higher level. They're like there for authority. I'm like, no, I'm here to be your friend. Be my friend, please. I don't. So all of us like get to hang around, and as Anna said, like, it's for the kids by the kids. So yeah.
I just have to say that Mitzi is like the life of the party. Like, when you hear her, you know that something's happening. Like, you know, I think everyone that's going to be listening to this podcast will have a sense of her like energy.
For the listeners, you're really selling the vision of why they should join Giffoni. Because even me now, I hear you, I'm like, it sounds so I want to do it, but I'm going to be 23 and I'm French.
You can join us. Feel free.
Yeah.
Yes, you're a part of us now.
So actually, you kind of answered the question, because I was going to ask, beyond the screenings, what other like experiences should participants and audiences look forward to? And I think everyone got the point. It's friendship. So you already mentioned a bit that the workshops are also connected to cinema and arts in general. Do they change every year, the specific workshop, or are they like constant, like every year the same things, but maybe with a twist, something like that?
For most years, the workshops are constant, but we try to like test the waters and try out a new workshop, maybe take one out that's not performing as well as we expected it to, since we want to see what's popular with the group that will be participating. But it's a constant in a sense that the juniors have a theater workshop. So they do a full choreography that musical, yes. They also have a short film workshop and a drawing workshop. For the cadets and the seniors, since they're in the same venue, yes, we didn't mention this, that the juniors are usually in the Cinematheque of Macedonia, whereas the cadets and juniors are in the Youth Cultural Center. So they have the same workshops. For the cadets and seniors, it's the storyboarding, short film, the one-take film, the short documentary, and the photography workshops. Yes. From what we can sense, like in general, the generations really, especially nowadays, change quickly. So like from what was the way we knew about Giffoni from our time to like the group joining now, it's a completely different way they interact with social media, with the festival itself. So like maybe if we try it next year, the same workshops that performed poorly might perform much better than we expect. So like we try to have a constant switch just so we can see what the new generation wants.
Also, the jurors themselves, so like some of them are constant, you know, they're going like for a bunch of years and they're constant at their workshops. Like someone's gonna choose one take video every single year. But a bunch of, like I see a bunch of young jurors that switch them around every year. So every year they apply for a new workshop, because still like it's 5 of them right now, which means that every year you can pick another one. So that's also a thing that I see the kids are doing.
Interesting. Probably they want to try out different hobbies and discover new things every year. So for me, when I discovered that it was actually like the young people, the kids being the jury members, I was really surprised in a positive way, because generally when I think about film festivals, the Oscars or something like that, as jury members, I just imagine like old people that don't even watch the movies and that just vote for movie based on, oh, this is my friend, or this company gives me money, so I need to vote for them. And so for me, when I discovered this, I was like, but this is amazing that it's like young people that have to be the jury members. I guess it's because my perception of the jury members is like really old people. For me, it's like the position that you cannot access. It gives like a sense of power that is kind of inaccessible unless you're really rich. So why do you think it's so important to involve young people in roles such as the jury member?
Well, first of all, for me, it's also a very interesting thing, and I have not seen this at another festival apart from Giffoni Giffoni Italia, of course. But I think it's awesome. It's honest. You know that the votes are honest. No one can set it up or anything. And sometimes, you know, it has happened multiple times that I'm 100% sure that, oh, this film is gonna win. This film was awesome. I like this movie so much. And then the audience, I mean, like the juries, like the jury members, they completely surprise me with a completely different movie. It turns out that more of them liked another one, which hadn't even crossed my mind. It's very nice to see how young people think. I mean, I hope we're also still young, but there is an age difference and a smaller generation difference between us and in our participants, you know. So it's always interesting to see how they think. That's one of the reasons why I continued volunteering for so many years.
That is an important part that we didn't mention in the first part when we were explaining the festival. But I would say that we hear constantly, especially when we're kids and growing up, that we have a voice, we should state our opinions, we should say what we think and act on our thoughts. But we don't really see that in practice. Like we would, as kids, we would be told, especially in school, let's say, that we have a voice to voice our opinion. We would voice our opinion, but it will not prevail to anything. So it's very easy to stifle someone's confidence at that age. So in a sense here, when you are given the opportunity to state your opinions, discuss about the movies, and then further on, we say okay, you've said your opinions, you've discussed. Now you can have the chance to actually choose and to have an important role to actually give a recognition to your favorite movie, since we usually try our best to have the directors present, if they are present from our countries or some local neighboring countries. Yes, so it's always nice to see that even the directors themselves appreciate the input that the children give, because of course it's coming of age movies that are connected mostly to the festival. So they've made it with children in mind, with young adults in mind. So it's very important to give them a space where they can actually see their opinions actually matter and will make a change in someone else's life.
Yeah, I agree with Berta and Anya, but for me, I always look beyond the movie, because you can watch a movie now, later on your opinion will change. And I think it was important for these kids to have a creative space where they felt safe, protected in a way, because as all of you said, growing up, you will only hear the talk, but you would never have the space to express yourself. And the kids not just express themselves throughout the movie, but they do throughout the workshops, throughout, just sitting in a space alone, sitting in a space with a bunch of kids your age, and hearing the opinions gives you that sort of confidence and that space to express yourself, to say that I don't like that, and you will hear what I have to say. And especially in a country like ours that is so small, and the younger generations are getting more suppressed, it was important for them to have this space such as Giffoni.
Yeah, earlier you were mentioning that some jurors are picked to go to the Giffoni in Italy. How do you pick the people that go to Italy? I guess it's based on the participation, talks, and the involvement in the workshops.
Yes, definitely. It's important to be a participant of Giffoni Macedonia. So from then on, we see how the jurors are engaged during the movie. So being there for the whole program is quite important, so we can see that you are invested in the festival, and the quality of the opinions that you give, and the interest that you have in the movies themselves, your active participation in workshops as well as the master classes. And also we are trying to have the jurors, the group, raise awareness about the ecological issues. So we have an opportunity collect points through recycling. So that is also a vital part on how you're chosen to get to go to Giffoni Italia, and as well as being a host to our many Giffoners, our many jurors that come from abroad. So we try to give a fair chance to everyone, but when we see that someone checks all the boxes and is really invested, we prioritize them in a way to see if they are going to be able to go to the original festival.
Also, I would like to add with Anya that we also do a prioritization in a way of jurors that have been longer, and that we take in consideration that, hey, it might be their last year and they were a part of this festival for such a long time. So we kind of view that into a point as well. But also, I would like to say to not be discouraged, because we had like jurors that didn't get the chance to go to Italy, but they would still participate in the festival and be creative. So us as like volunteers and the staff try to make it not about who gets to go to Italy, but more of like who gets to express themselves in the most creative way. And we put the focus on their creation rather than, hey, you will get to go to this festival if you do this, and this. Like, yes, the kids are aware of the festival in Italy, but they still feel comfortable enough to express themselves in our festival here.
I just want to point this out. Anya already mentioned it earlier, but the thing is, at the end of the festival, we choose like 3 or 4 participants that are announced at the end of the festival, like on the closing ceremony. Those are the ones that are chosen, like we were discussing just about now. Most of the jurors, however, are chosen on a special screening. You know, when everyone there's volunteers during the discussions for the films and everything that keep track of who's active in the discussions, who has a good point to tell, a good critique and stuff like that. Afterwards, a bunch of the jurors are invited for a special screening where we watch a short film, and afterwards also have a discussion. At that screening, apart from the jurors that want to go to Italy, there's also the jurors that have already been there the previous year. And when the discussion finishes, they go out, they vote for who they think should go and who they think made the best point and all of that. We always have people from all of the age groups going to the festival. That's what I wanted to add.
And interesting thing is, here our festival is focused on the youngsters, so primary and high school. But in the Italian festival, they have an 18 plus group. So sometimes if we see that someone's fit to go to that group, it doesn't necessarily have to be from the seniors that they go, but we can choose from the volunteers or someone that has passed the group and we've seen that they followed through with, you know, how long they've been at the festival and how engaged they were. And now as a volunteer, they have a chance to go. So it's not necessarily that we only focus on the group itself. We try to look at the whole picture, because thankfully each year the group that we take to Italy grows. But again, this year was 12 children. But I really love what Mitzi said, that as years go by and as the festival is growing, more and more people are getting aware of Giffoni Italia and their opportunity to go. But we really try our best to be separate in a way, to be unique, to make the kids interested in the festival itself, not just for the opportunity to travel abroad.
Are there specific themes and issues that inspire the young people at the festival? And if so, are these inspirations global or do they vary depending on the country?
Usually from the Giffoni Italia Festival, some of the movies that are screened there, we try our best to get to the Macedonian Giffoni. So from what I've noticed, most of the time the opinions align. So the group that's watching them in Italy and then back home, their opinions align, and rarely do we see a difference in their favorite movies from the ones that we can see make the comparison for. But in general, I think like even if they would be inspired by different things, now with like globalization, like social media and how much we're seeing and hearing about all the issues, I think that, and in general, growing kids are experiencing self-discovery. So their issues are centered around their surrounding, themselves, who they are becoming. From my opinion, I would say that they have similar experiences and similar issues that arise. I'm not sure if they would agree.
From what I've seen, that's the case. Like most of their opinions are the same. Maybe, there's gonna be like 2 movies that the audience really liked, and at one place they chose one film, at the other place they chose another film as the best film. But that's just like small differences.
And I feel they're becoming more and more outspoken with each generation. So they really are fighting for like global issues. So when a movie, let's say, has an LGBT character that's misrepresented in a way, and they would call that out. They would say and talk about it, and we can see that there's a change and a shift in how they understand these topics. So with our master classes, that's another one I wanted to say. We were going to have a wonderful movie. Saying wonderful after watching the movie is not the correct word for me, but because it covers very hard topics, but it's called Girls Don't Cry. They have a few female characters that are the same age. I think they were all about teenagers. So they have different situations, like going from immigration to trans to the minority communities and so on. So in that movie, cover a lot of topics, and I'm really excited to see how the group will react to them and how this year their opinions are developing. Since we will have some of the group that are constantly coming to Giffoni and some that it's gonna be their first time. So we will also have a guest from a feminist organization to speak to them before the movie to, in a way, ease them into the topic, so it's not too hard for them to see in one sitting, because it's many different stories.
I also like to point out that the debates or conversations don't just stop at timed discussions. I would say that they go beyond, outside of the movie theaters, outside of Giffoni. They like debate amongst each other, and I caught like us, the volunteers, like if we caught the movie or like we watched it, we're like debating between each other, like, hey, I think this. And it's so much fun to see that, to spark the debate in them, to see their point of view and how they phrase things. And also I agree with Tanya, and it's so much better when you have a person sit down with you and ease you into the problem in today's society or the topic of a movie before you watch it, because it gives you a different perspective. It's a great opportunity when you have the characters of the movie, the actors, be present on stage and talk with the jurors, because a lot of the time we forget to separate the actor from the character of the movie, which is so sad. It's bizarre at some stages of life. So it's so great when you have the director and the actor to tell you, this is how I felt and this is what I did going into this movie. Like, this is how I changed my mindset before filming it, and this is how my mindset is. So again, it is a wonderful opportunity. And personally, I would wish to have more festivals or organizations such as Giffoni here in Macedonia to not just give the youngsters space to say what they think, but for the older generations as well, for the older people that I'd say have more life experience, because opinions and views change throughout the course of life. And what you thought 10 years ago might change now and you don't think it anymore. Or maybe you still stay on that, but your point of view and your viewing is different in a way.
So I think now we all understood that Giffoni, it's not just about films. It's mostly about the young people, their creativity, and the issues that matter to them for today's youth. What do you think sparks creativity in them?
First thing that came to my mind is accessibility. I think that's what sparks creativity most in youngsters nowadays, since I've seen from maybe when I started to go on the internet, YouTube was just starting off and the first YouTubers were popping up. So it was still unattainable in a way. It felt like a scary new world for most of us that were young back then. But now, with so many new ways and so easy ways to create, they're more and more inspired to be part, to share their opinions and their creativity, because they know that there's someone that's thinking like them, because they've seen it themselves with so many influencers nowadays that they share their opinions. So some might come with the idea that they want to be a famous influencer. Some might just want to maybe share their creativity. But no matter the reason, they really are more confident in themselves to like express themselves and to start creating for a wider audience from the get-go.
Also, I'd like to add the acceptance and the vulnerability. because when you come to Giffoni, you are vulnerable because you are meeting new people with different ideas, different experiences, different backgrounds, cultures, countries. And I think it's important when you go through puberty or those rebel ages, as older generations will say. I think it's important to see that even people your age are not afraid, and it gives you that power, that push to be more active, whether it's in the festival or NGOs or anything else. It gives you that freedom as well, because when you grow up and even throughout life, you tend to be more closed and to be aware of everything going around you. And, in today's technology, again, I will bring it up, with AI and everything like that, you are scared to comment something on the internet, to text your friend, because you don't know how that will be taken as. But when you come to Giffoni and when you state your opinion or a fact or anything like that, you spark up a conversation. It's not like, oh my God, why are you thinking that? It's like, oh, okay, I hear you. I get where you're coming from. No, this is my idea. This is how I view it. So again, the acceptance and just the fact that you are not alone and you don't have to struggle with it and you don't have to go through it alone. It's mind-blowing and it's beautiful. And I think that is why we go back to Giffoni every single time. You just know that these are your people, and you just know that you are accepted, that you are home, that you are at peace. You don't have to be afraid. You just have to be yourself, and no one will hate you. You are just loved.
I think the biggest inspiration anyone, literally any person can find, is in everyday life. It's in the small things and the big things. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's not. And I'm really happy that this festival gets to be a part of everyday life for high schoolers and for elementary school kids as well. It's been here for 13 years. I hope it will last for a lot more, as much as it can.
Also, the support is very important. And Giffoni is a place that really clearly shows that even if you don't have support from your community, your surroundings, friends, family, no matter the situation that you're in, you have a place to come to, and you have a place that will support you and will try to give you creative freedom and teach you how to have your creativity bloom in a way.
I hope that everyone that will listen to the podcast will understand that, okay, it's a film festival, but it's about making friendship. It's about yourself, expressing yourself, which, as you already mentioned so many times, sometimes when you're young, you don't know how to express yourself. You don't have the platform. And Giffoni is the platform to allow the people, the youngsters now, to express themselves. Girls, thank you so much for your participation. It was so fun to record this podcast. I hope you had fun too. And I really hope the podcast will encourage our listeners to take part in the Giffoni Youth Film Festival in the future, maybe as a volunteer or who knows, as a juror. And also, don't forget to stay tuned for the next episode of Voices to Hear.
Thank you!
Thank you for having us. It was our pleasure as well.
Voices to Hear.